Canva, Prezi, Keynote, Google Slides, and PowerPoint. With so many options, it can be really hard to know which one is best for academic scientists, researchers, evaluators, and similar professionals, which is why today I will be talking about which one software I recommend for professionals who need to share data and technical and educational information. All right, you are probably here because you are wondering which is the one best software when you need to share data or technical information or educational information. Well, if you watch this video, you will have your answer today. Now, just in case you're new to my channel, I am Dr. Rivera, and I help academic scientists, researchers, and evaluators communicate better when they're using slides. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell so you get notified because I make new videos every single week. Okay, here are the 5 slide apps I'm going to talk to you about today. We're going to cover Canva, Prezi, Google Slides, Keynote, and PowerPoint. And don't worry, this wasn't a clickbait video. I'm not going to end the video with surprise, they all suck. You will know which one of these is the best by the end of the video. So let's just go in order. We're going to go ahead and start with Canva. Now, Canva is a browser-based design app, and you can use it to create all kinds of things: social media graphics, brochures, flyers. So lots of great stuff in here. And they do have a presentation design section. So let's take a look. So the first thing that I am noticing is that it's all templates. Like when you get here, you basically have to select from one of their templates and you have to use that. There isn't really a blank slide deck here where you can customize and create your own template. Now, maybe you heard that just now and you were like, yes, look at all these new beautiful templates for me to try. Let me stop you right there and say I'm so glad you were here watching this video because I have bad news for you. That's actually the kiss of death for me. The fact that it's all templates and you can't customize your own template. So this is why I will never ever use Canva for presentations. Basically, I don't really have time to get into it into this video, but I'll just let you know that slide templates, like off-the-shelf built-in templates like that, yeah, maybe they look pretty on the surface, but they actually set you up to fail. You can't really create an effective and engaging presentation with data using those kinds of templates. But we have to move on. I have other resources about that if you're interested, and I'll link to those below. Okay, so I also, even though I knew I wasn't going to use Canva, I still just checked and poked around, and I tried out their DataVis because that's something that is very important to us. And I was really disappointed in this. I'm sorry, but you can't customize the design and the defaults are really not good. I wanted to basically change everything here, but you really just can't do a lot. So if you use Canva for presentations, your DataVis will be ineffective, basically. So again, another kiss of death with Canva for me. And then just out of curiosity, because I was already there checking it out, I went to click present and check out presenter view because that's also something that I think is really important to have work really well. And I could not believe my eyes that I had to pay. To present. Like that alone, I was just like, nope, not happening. I am absolutely done. So here's my sort of, summary slide of Canva. And what I didn't like about it was, well, it's all templates. There's no blank slide deck where you can really customize it. It has a complete lack of necessary data visualization elements, and you need to pay to present. Nope. So what did I like about Canva? Nothing. And what did I love about Canva? Nothing. So sorry, Canva, but don't use Canva for presentations. Now, go ahead and use Canva for everything else. Use it for social media graphics, brochures, flyers, creative stuff. Canva is great for that. I have no complaints in terms of, well, I probably have a few complaints, but it works really well for that. And I have used Canva for that. So go ahead, use it for that. But if you are an academic scientist, researcher, evaluator, or similar professional, don't use Canva to present. Okay, let's talk about Prezi. Oh, Prezi. Yeah, so you're probably familiar with Prezi because it's been around forever now. And I see a lot of people on social media asking that they should stop using their current software, which is usually PowerPoint, and switch to Prezi so they can make better presentations. So maybe you've thought that too. And I do want to say, I want to give sort of a disclaimer here that I have used Prezi in the past. I was an early adopter. I loved Prezi. I told everybody about Prezi. I tried to get everybody else to use it. So, sorry about that. And again, another disclaimer, I did actually do it right. So it was a highly visual presentation. There was no spinning. I didn't make anyone sick. And I did actually get a lot of compliments on my Prezi presentations and people saying that it was unlike anything they'd ever seen. They found it really engaging. They really enjoyed learning when I was using a Prezi. So I'm saying this because I just feel like, I can foresee Prezi experts coming in here in the comments and telling me that I just didn't do it right. I did do it well, but I still no longer use Prezi. Okay, but before I get back into that, let's just kind of take a look at what Prezi is offering right now. So I haven't opened Prezi in 4 or 5 years now. So I just kind of poked around the website to see what was going on. And it does look a little different. So it looks a little more like Google Slides now. And the thing with Prezi is it's kind of sort of a browser-based app. And you can kind of sort of work on it offline. But again, we'll talk about that in a second. What I actually want to start with is just sort of their big features. So let's take a look at what they're really promoting on their website. And the first thing is smart structures. So let's go ahead and take a look at that together. Okay, so the first thing they're showing is you can drag and drop and rearrange, which is super basic. Everybody allows you to do that. But now it looks like what they're showing you is you can easily create sort of a clickable table of contents to choose what order your slides are going to go and that kind of thing, and rearrange your sections. That's really cool. I mean, that seems easier than when I used it. So that looks like a big improvement. So far, so good. All right, let's take a look at their next feature that they promote. So this one is called Zoom Reveal, and it's something that Prezi is known for, and probably not in a good way. So let's see if they have improved that. Okay, so Zoom Reveal. Okay, yeah, so it's this zooming effect. Almost, I don't know if this is parallax. I don't know if that's the same thing, but it kind of has like this stuff just moving around a lot. And yeah, honestly, this still looks just as bad as it did before. This may not be so bad if you're just watching this on a laptop screen or something really small. But again, think about us and the type of things that we do. We usually have things on a big projector, and imagine those zooming effects constantly, like back and forth on a big projector. That makes stuff nauseous. They will hate you. Your audience really does not enjoy that. Maybe some people like it, but for most people, it just creates sort of like, a nauseous kind of feeling. So you want to avoid that. So this big feature that that Prezi promotes, their Zoom feature, is something I would say disable it if you can. And if you can't disable this, then don't even use it. All right, let's take a look at the last feature that they promote. This is called free movement. And this is a big thing that Prezi is known for in a good way. This is why a lot of people, a lot of academics and scientists say that they even want to use Prezi, because it basically creates a non-linear presentation. So you can just kind of go in different orders. You can have this be really interactive with the audience. You kind of let them guide what you're going to talk about next. And, that feature alone is actually fantastic. I think that has a lot of potential to help you create better presentations. But that zoom effect that happens every single time you're changing from one section to the next, that has to go. So honestly, that's one of the reasons I stopped using PowerPoint. Okay, but moving on. Let's take a look at their DataVis. So based on this preview, there are more options to edit the default design for graphs compared to Canva. So that's promising, because there is a lot I'd want to fix here. And it's kind of funny because they're like showing this on their sales page, like, ooh, look how great this is. And I'm like, no, we need to change a lot, which is why it's so helpful to have training on data visualization. But still, just kind of looking at the side there, it looks like there are good options to, change what they've done in the defaults. Okay. So yes, I am technically cheating with Prezi because I'm just looking at their webpage, but I've got years of experience using it, and I knew I wasn't going to go back to it, and I didn't even want to set up an account with them. And here's one of the reasons why: you have to pay. You have to pay to use Prezi, and it's kind of a lot of money in my opinion. And if you want to do something like basic, like work offline and present offline without an internet connection, you have to be in the plus. You have to be in the $19 a month package. And even for something like presenter view, which is really important, you want that to actually work well, so that you can, have that while you're presenting. And you have to, again, be in this $19 a month package for something I find extremely basic. So that's kind of just the kiss of death for me. That's a lot of money. Okay, so here's what I don't like about Prezi. It's just so expensive for the basics. Being able to edit and present without an internet connection feels really basic to me. I don't really want to have to pay for that. And the core feature, the zoom effect, shouldn't even be used. What I like about Prezi is that it is a non-linear format. It really encourages that. And it does seem to have some pretty good DataVis design options. Now, in terms of what I love, I don't really love anything about Prezi, to be honest. And this is all kind of related to, again, why I stopped using Prezi in the first place. And here's why. There was so much lag when I used Prezi. It was one of the most frustrating experiences towards the end when I was having really highly visual presentations. I mean, I would drag and drop an image and wait 30 seconds, a minute longer just for it to load. And then, if I wanted to move that image around, I mean, I'd have to wait again another 30 seconds, sometimes over a minute, just for Prezi to keep up with me. And I had a good internet connection, and I was even using their offline app, and it still had huge amounts of lag. I just don't think these kind of programs can really handle highly visual presentations, which is what you want to do. So it was not working well. And I used Prezi when I was a grad student, and they had a free educational license, and so that was fine. I was able to experiment and use it for free. But then when I graduated and I got my PhD, it was no longer free. And I was not going to pay for it. Another reason I stopped using Prezi was because I found that I just wasn't using the non-linear feature. I do actually think this has a lot of potential to make engaging presentations, which is why I am making another video about that, but I didn't at the time. And so it was just another reason I stopped using Prezi. And I just realized that ultimately I was making regular presentations that I can make in other software, but it took about 3 times the effort, and it's not even free. So that's why I stopped using Prezi. Now, again, I know a lot of people love Prezi, and there are Prezi experts out there. So I foresee them coming in and leaving comments about how wrong I am. So I just want to make it clear that I am saying you can make awesome presentations using Prezi. I am not questioning that. My problem is you're going to pay a ton of money to do it, and you're probably rarely going to use that non-linear feature, and you're just going to spend a lot more time creating the presentation, especially compared to the application I'm going to recommend at the end of the video. So just like weighing all of that together, the recommended app I'm going to share at the end, in my opinion, is just better than Prezi. Okay, so we've covered 2 applications so far, and I want to hear from you. I want to check in. Comment about your reaction to this. Are you shocked? Are you relieved that I'm saying don't use Canva, don't use Prezi? And if you've tried to use Canva or Prezi to make a professional presentation with data, comment below about your experience. Is it the same as mine? Is it different than mine? Either way, I would just like to hear from you so far. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to recommend that you don't use Prezi for your presentations. Just like with Canva, I do think you could use Prezi for something else, something more creative, like you have a interactive CV that you embed on your website. I do think it could be cool for those kinds of things. But for presentations, especially presentations with data, I would say don't use it. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to Google Slides. So I've played around a lot with Google Slides, but I've never actually given a presentation using it, but I've made training videos and I am pretty familiar with it. And I do think it's an impressive tool. So what I like is you can edit the master slides and you can make your own template, which in my opinion is absolutely basic and necessary for any slide software I'm going to use. And I also checked out their DataVis stuff, and the defaults look pretty standard. So at first, this wasn't a deal breaker for me. But the real question is always, how much can I customize it? Because no application, not even the one I'm going to recommend, has excellent default settings. If you want to present your data effectively, you will need to change those. So I tested it out. And one thing was I couldn't figure out how to change the color of just one bar at a time. I could only do the entire series. So that's not really great. And the font sizes, those are always too small. So I was trying to make them bigger and just format them. And it was just really annoying. It was just a very frustrating experience to customize the graphs in Google Slides. So the thing with me is I just don't have a lot of patience. I want my software to work for me and I want it to be easy. And it's possible that this would have worked if I kept trying to figure it out, but I lost patience, especially when the app I'm going to recommend, I would have been done with this in, just a couple minutes without this kind of annoying effort. So yeah, that's why I don't really love Google Slides. But, Google Slides has a lot of basic features that I do use. You can customize the template. You can add animations. You have a slide sorter view. The presenter view is great. They do have design tools and arrange tools, which I look for. And again, a good presenter view. So, it does have a lot of great stuff. And then the best things about Google Slides is that it's free. Yay. It works on any device, and that's always nice. It has live subtitles and audience interaction components. Now, these live subtitles, they're just such a great accessibility feature, and I really love that Google Slides has this. I find that really impressive. And the audience interaction tools really blew me away. I didn't know about those until I was preparing for this video. But you can do things like poll your audience and let them ask you questions just sort of natively in Google Slides. That impressed me a lot. But sadly, there are some deal breakers or things that I don't really like. Google Slides doesn't have icons. I don't find Google Slides easy to use compared to the app I'm going to recommend. I actually found it kind of annoying. The menu choices just don't make sense for my brain. They don't have advanced features. So yeah, they have basic features, but they don't have advanced ones that I've definitely gotten used to and I need in my presentations. The DataVis design was particularly frustrating and limited, and you need an internet connection to really work on it and present. So yeah, just to recap, what I don't like is that you need an internet. Maybe you can download them and present them as a PDF or something, and you don't need internet for that, but that's just annoying and an extra step that I don't really love. And yeah, just in general, I found it annoying and harder to use, and it lacked the necessary advanced features that I need. But I do like some things about it. It has a lot of the features that I need when I make slides, and it's free. That's always good. And I do actually love some things about Google Slides. It's got live subtitles and interactive tools. So way to go, Google Slides. So taking all of that together, I would say if you want to use Google Slides, go ahead. It is not the app I recommend, but it's not going to set you up to fail like Canva will. And it's, it has a lot more benefits than Prezi. So out of these three that we've covered so far, I would recommend Google Slides. Okay, so now you kind of already know that I'm going to recommend Keynote or PowerPoint. Those are the only two that are left. So I'm just kind of curious, which one do you think I'm going to recommend, or which one do you hope I recommend? Okay, pause the video and leave a comment before you hit play. Okay, Keynote, you are up next. Now, I just want to give you some context about my slide software timeline. So I started using slides around 5th grade, I think. And then, of course, there's 2020. And then I do have a few milestones in between. So I already told you that I used Prezi from about 2011 to 2014. And then in 2005, something happened. I got a Mac and I started using Keynote. And I fell in love with Keynote instantly. And it became my preferred software for about 14 years. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe so much time has passed. But, yeah, I did use Prezi for a while, for a few years, but even then I used Keynote at least half the time for those presentations. It really was my preferred slide software because I had started using PowerPoint in like 5th grade. I think my first presentation was about koalas. Like I have this memory. So when Keynote came along, I mean, it really was just, it was so awesome to use. I mean, really, it was awesome. I made engaging presentations. The defaults were better. It was so much easier and faster to make really good presentations with Keynote that I pretty much avoided using PowerPoint as much as possible over those 14 years. I still had to sometimes use PowerPoint, but I really tried to avoid it until last year. Something changed. So spoiler, you can see which app I'm going to recommend. It's going to be PowerPoint. And I wanted to give you this timeline, not just to talk about myself, but to let you know I have a lot of experience with these 3 big ones. So I am using my experience to inform this video. And I have used these applications for our types of presentations with data. I started my research career around 2006. So I know what these apps can and can't do for professional presentations. And for Keynote and PowerPoint, the reason why I left them at the end is because they actually are pretty identical. You can edit the master slides, you can create a custom template. They have, icons, they have advanced animations, they have advanced DataVis design. They're both easy to use. They have design tools. I mean, they are almost the same. In some cases, PowerPoint is easier to do something than Keynote, but then sometimes it's the reverse. So it kind of all balances out. So the kiss of death with Keynote, and the reason why I stopped using it is because they just stopped improving it. I mean, they really stopped putting any effort into Keynote, and they did a long time ago. The last time they did an update that actually added in a new and modern feature was 2009. I mean, that's over 10 years ago. So in that time, PowerPoint not only caught up to Keynote, but got better than Keynote. So I'm just going to kind of skip ahead because they are so similar. Here's what I don't like about Keynote. It's outdated and lacking in updates. And I really don't foresee Apple investing in it because they've been sort of, not supporting it more and more over the years. And it does kind of suck that it only works on a Mac. Even though, a lot more people are using Macs back then compared to 2005, it just traps you in the Apple ecosystem, which is not great. What I like about Keynote is it is free for Mac users, at least it used to be, and it does have both basic and advanced features. Keynote pretty much does have almost everything that I need, but what do I love about it? Well, nothing anymore. So just like with Google Slides, if you want to use Keynote, you're using Keynote, you like it, great, go ahead and do that. You can absolutely make effective and engaging slides with Keynote. But honestly, PowerPoint blows all of these other applications out of the water. In a nutshell, everything those apps can do, PowerPoint can do them too. And usually PowerPoint can do it better or easier. So for example, you can make non-linear presentations in PowerPoint. Prezi is not the only one that lets you do this. And my next video is going to be about showing you how to do this in PowerPoint. And it is so easy. It only takes a couple minutes. And it's not just that. PowerPoint has unique features that others don't have or are much easier to use. Things like really great icons. And I even made a whole video about 3 features in PowerPoint that are awesome and easy to use, including icons. And the link to that is in the description below. And this entire presentation was made in PowerPoint. All of these drawings, this is my handwriting. This isn't Adobe After Effects or anything special. So if this shocked you, and if you are pleasantly surprised that PowerPoint can make such great presentations, give this video a like. And yeah, even this, by the way, was also made in PowerPoint. So yeah, PowerPoint is fantastic, and you can use it for things other than slides too. Like Canva isn't the only thing where you can do it for more creative things. This free toolkit that I'm about to release in a week or so with one of my upcoming videos, I made this toolkit in PowerPoint and it looks great. So chances are you started watching this video because you wanted to make better presentations and you were hoping I was going to tell you some magical app that wasn't PowerPoint that would help you do this. I see this question almost every day on social media where someone is like, I want to make better presentations. What should I use besides PowerPoint? Just about every academic, scientist, researcher, evaluator, and similar professional has asked this question at some point. So you're among friends here. The thing is that PowerPoint was never the problem, and another app is not the solution. And neither are templates. That is a step in the wrong direction, which is why I was so harsh on Canva for all of those templates. So maybe you're a little frustrated because you really thought I was going to sort of unlock the secret and tell you about a magical slide app, but really PowerPoint is great. So what's the problem then? If PowerPoint is so great, why is death by PowerPoint a thing? What is the real solution? Well, the problem is that no one really trains us on how to communicate effectively when we are using slides. This isn't part of our grad school training, at least not for most of us. That's the real problem. So the solution is actually professional development, so you know how to use whatever slide app you're using to make an effective presentation. So if you are serious and you are ready to get going on your professional development, then check out my free online course called Stellar Slides in 5. It is a great way to get started on your professional development, and it's free. Okay, if you are already a member of my paid online course, Blast Off to Stellar Slides, then check out our private community for a bonus tutorial on how I made this animation in PowerPoint. Okay, so now I really want to hear from you. Take a moment to leave a comment. Are you relieved or shocked or disappointed that PowerPoint is the winner? Let me know below. And thank you so much for watching this video. I know it was extra long, but we had to cover a lot of information. So if you made it this far, you are fabulous. And be sure to give this video a like and share it with others who maybe are convinced that PowerPoint dooms you to fail and other people who might need to hear this message. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified of my next video, which will be next week. And otherwise, thank you so much for helping me end death by PowerPoint, and I will see you in the next video.